Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are, whenever you're watching this. Welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today we are going to be swatching all of my Kaleidos lip clays. Welcome to everybody watching today's video. Thank you so very much for being here. This is going to be a full review of all of the Kaleidos Makeup Cloud Lab lip clays, it's a mouthful, that I have in my collection. We're going to be swatching these on the back of my hand as well as on my lips, and I'm going to be chatting to you about the formula as well. And in case you're new here and this is the first time you are watching me, hi, my name is Maaike. I live in the Netherlands. I love creating YouTube content about eyeshadow palettes, essence and Catrice reviews, and getting the use out of my makeup. And this year, it is my aim to come on here once a month and to do a lip swatch video with lipsticks that I have in my collection. The Kaleidos Cloud Lab lip clays are lipsticks that were very intriguing to me because they do some unusual shades. It's a liquid lipstick formula, but it seems to be quite moussey and comfortable as well. I've heard a lot of people raving about this, especially Kat from Beauty News. She has her own channel under the name Kitchenich on here. She has been raving about these. So earlier in the year, I decided to place myself an order because what the brand allows you to do is to select tints and shades that you like from the different collections that they have on offer. And not all of the shades really appeal to me. And then they do also sell the sets as is, and I have one of those. This is the Smokey Nostalgia one that they did earlier in the year. So I've got a little bit of everything here. I've got some neutral shades, I've got bright shades, I've got reds, I've got some of the unusual shades of the line so that we can get a full lowdown on what this line has to offer. However, I did try to avoid some of the more standard shades that I already have a million times over in my collection and that I'm sure you also have. Because one of the things that I'm looking for when I'm reviewing lipsticks is how well it goes with my snow angel-like skin. I have fair skin with a cool to neutral undertone, and especially some of the more unusual shades this line has to offer. I was very curious to see how it would pull against my skin tone, because very often blacks and like other things like that don't look really good on me, can make me look very dead, and very deep shades can very often against my skin tone have too little of a difference between like a purple and a black, and it doesn't really show up very well. So we're gonna put everything to the test. And if you don't want to hear me ramble too much and you just want to have a look at swatches and what these look like on my face, then I'll make sure to leave a link in the description box down below, because the blog post will be going live the day this video is also going live, where I will have that information for you. So if you don't want to sit through this entire video and hear me ramble too much and you just want to see the shades, don't worry, I've got you. You can look at it in under 30 seconds over on the blog. So the first thing I want to do is chat to you about the formula, the wear time, because I have already been testing these out off camera before sitting down to film this video. I definitely went in with a couple of the shades to see how they would last on me, and then we will get to the swatches. So in each of the collections that they have, they seem to be going from light to dark. I believe one of their first collections was more of like a nude thing. They have a red range. So they have quite a lot going on. And the formula of these is a more, let's call it a moussey kind of texture. It's very comfortable, but it's also very thin on the lips. So it's not a heavy liquid lipstick that has this very uncomfortable dry down. I found that these lip clays have a very, very comfortable formula indeed. These do not make your lips feel dried out and really cakey on the lips. They feel like a regular lipstick would, but they perform like a liquid lipstick. Now, I have tested these out to see how long they would wear on me and also how they would wear. And I find that the wear on these isn't ideal when it comes to a liquid lipstick. If I go for a liquid lip, I want it to not budge, even if I'm eating something messy like a very oily burger or something like that. With these, I feel they don't hold up too well if you're eating something very oily, but they definitely last throughout the day. If all you're having is a bit of like a salad or like a sandwich or something like that, they can handle that, but only after you wait for about a good 30 to 60 minutes for it to fully dry down. I made the mistake after trying some of these out to have lunch right after, and then they won't stay put. So it definitely takes a little while for these to settle down and fully adhere to your lips. And I'm not sure if you can see, but my top lip isn't as big as my bottom lip. Like I have a pretty big bottom lip compared to my top lip. So what I did experience is that the center of my bottom lip, that's where the wear would be. And I tried seeing if I could reapply the lipstick. and that didn't look great because it was a lot lighter on that part where the lipstick had worn off, and then I would just get a very dark rim along the bottom. So these aren't the best for retouching, I feel. So really nice, comfortable formula. If you like liquid lipsticks that have better wear time than most regular lipsticks, but that feel creamy and comfortable on the lips, then these are great. If, like me, you want a liquid lipstick to just not budge, then these may not be the best. So for me, these weren't super successful, but I do think the line has some really cool shades to offer that I know I will be going back to. So let's get to the shades. So I want to talk about the shades first that I have here, and then we'll get to the swatches. I have one of the regular collections, as I mentioned. This is the Smokey Nostalgia. So these I didn't put together myself. These just came with the tin, and they have the gray packaging. That's why these all look identical. And this goes from like a lighter brownish tone nude to like a very deep reddish brown. The shades that you get in here are Skinship, Cold Smoke, Cognac, and Smeared Rouge. And these are all brown tones, and I was very curious to see how that would work against my fair skin, because brown tones don't always look great. But I have found, to my surprise, that these all work on me a lot better than I had expected, so I'm very happy. Then in my little blue tin, I have my more unusual shades, because this line has a couple of very interesting shades, and I'm always for trying things out. And I was like, if I'm gonna wear a liquid lipstick, I'm not gonna go for a nude, and I already have a perfect red, so why not go for a dirty lilac lavender shade. This is Mercury Wave, which is the lightest shade I have. Then we have Agave, which is a teal. And I love teal eyeshadow, so I figured, why not try that? We're gonna save that towards the end. And then I have a really intense dark black and purple. This is called Queen of the Night. And then finally in here, I did go also with the black. This is the shade Scorpion Fruit. So these darker shades I'm going to swatch for you towards the end, just so that they can't mess with any of the any of the other lipsticks that I've got going on. And then I did go for some brights and some reds just to see what the collection has to offer. And I put it in the red tin. And I have the shade Wild Apple, which is like, it's not quite pink, it's not quite red, but it's still very pretty. And then I have Cactus Flower, which is a very nice bright fuchsia. And then I have Dahlia, which is like a darker red as well. I feel that Smeared Rouge from the Smokey Nostalgia collection is quite similar, so I'll make sure to swatch those side by side so you can see the difference. And then I have Rubino, because if we go red, I very much like it to go like deep, deep red. And they don't really have a good, very classic red. It's all very orange tone that they do, which is not necessarily my favorite. So I'm going to be swatching these for you from light to dark. So I've mixed the collections up so that we can chat about what these shades actually look like. And then hopefully you can also see this formula a bit better. So we're gonna start things off with Mercury Wave, which is a very grayish, lavendery, taupey kind of shade. It's really interesting. And I felt I had to try something that was light enough for a nude, but that wasn't necessarily a classic nude, because a lot of their classic nudes are very beigey, and that just never looks right on me. But I thought that this really cool toned lavender could be a good one for me. Let me show you what this looks like on my lips. And that's Mercury Wave for you. As you can see, it's like a cool tone, brownish lavender kind of shade. I feel this is really cool for like an edgy look, especially if you go for a very neutral eye and you don't want to add actual color, but you do want to wear something on the lips. Then this can give you that sort of like, especially if your eye look is also like this like cool toned lavender kind of shade. I think it can make for a very nice monotone look. And I love the applicator on these because it allows you to be very precise, and the formula actually gives you time to work with it. So especially when we get to the darker shades, it's going to be very helpful because you can get your lip line next to perfect when you use these lipsticks, which I love. Next up is Skinship, and this is from the set from the Smokey Nostalgia collection. And this was a shade, when I bought the Smokey Nostalgia set, I was pretty sure wasn't going to be pretty on me because it's like a beigey brown nude shade, which I usually stay away from. But I felt that this was unexpectedly quite flattering, and it's actually a pretty good nude on me. So normally I wouldn't be much of a fan of a brown tone nude, but I feel that this, for some reason, I'm not sure if you can see it in the swatch here, but it's got quite a lot of pink running through it, and that's why I feel this works on me. Is this something that I would wear with a very neutral eye that I have going on today? No, this is the kind of like lipstick that I would wear more so if I were to do a more intense eye. I would definitely have to amp up my blush look here as well. I'm wearing pink blush that you can't really see because the light is washing it out. But in real life, there's definitely a little bit more blush going on than you can see on camera right now, and I feel it works quite well. So this is a really nice neutral shade. I'm glad I have it. Next up is another one from the Smokey Nostalgia collection. This is the shade Cold Smoke. This was the one I was very curious after because it's a cool tone brown, and we all know how I feel about cool tones. Brown lipstick is usually too warm toned, which is why it doesn't work for me. And this, if you want to go for that 90s vibe, and if you'd want to, you could definitely mix a little bit of skinship in the middle of your lip if you want to go for that ombre lip moment. This is definitely a good combo for that. And that is Cold Smoke. I love the way this looks with my brown eyes, my blonde hair, wearing a pretty dark blouse today as well. So does this make me look extra pale? Perhaps, but I love the undertone of this lipstick. It reminds me a lot of Velvet Decade from Lisa Eldridge, which has red running through it, but on me it doesn't really pick up, and it looks much more like a cool toned chocolatey brown. And that I feel is a bit deeper perhaps. So if Velvet Decade from Lisa Eldridge looked to be a little bit too dark for you, then this can be a really nice one if you want it to just have a bit more brown, but still be very cool toned. I love this shade on me. The next shade I want to swatch for you is called Wild Apple. And Wild Apple is one of the first bright shades. And it's sort of like in between a red and a pink. Like it's not quite pink and it's not quite red. And it's not too coral leaning either, which I like. And I believe this is from the Wild Apple collection, if I'm not mistaken, which actually also comes with these lip masks. But yeah, this is what Wild Apple looks like. It's not too intense. It's like a very muted down bright shade. So if you like the look of bright shades, but they scare you a little bit, then Wild Apple may be nice. And this is what Wild Apple looks like on. I love this kind of shade. This, for the springtime, is stunning. I really like this one. One of my favorite shades from the collection that I got and that I've worn multiple times already is Cactus Flower. This was a shade I was sort of on the fence about because I felt that these kind of fuchsias, that I have them. So I was like, do I really need this? But then I decided to throw it in instead of another neutral because I know I don't wear nude liquid lipsticks at all. And this is just really, really good. It's like, it's got really good vibrancy, so it really pops, as you will see in a minute when I wear it. But it's nothing too offensive. It's not like neon leaning, it's like a really good bright pink. I love shades like this. These are just great for the summertime. It's like ripe fruit. That's what this really reminds me of. And I hope you could see how easy this applicator made it for me to apply this. I find that these are some of the easiest to apply liquid lipsticks because the applicator just allows me to draw a really nice straight line every single time without fail. Next up is another brown, and this is a shade Cognac. This is like Max Chili kind of vibes, but then more brown toned. But it does have quite a bit of red, which is why it is actually quite wearable. And it is a really nice, like, well, I believe they have a shade called Mahogany, so I shouldn't call this a mahogany shade, but on my complexion, that's definitely the way it pulls. It's like, I mean, I've swatched it next to the other browns, and you can just see that Cold Smoke has a lot more gray running through it than Cognac has. It definitely has a lot more red, but this is really, really pretty. Even though it's a warm tone brown, because it's more red leaning, I can still very much get away with it. And it's sort of like, again, with my hair and my eye color, it's stunning. This is what Cognac looks like. And as I was putting it on, I was like, oh, this is like a chestnut brown. That's the best way to describe this. It's very pretty on me, I find, because of that reddish undertone. It's definitely giving me fall, MAC, chili kind of vibes. But I think that if you have a much deeper skin tone than mine, and especially if you have an olive skin tone, and I think this may be very pretty. And then we get to Dahlia. And Dahlia is like a dark red shade. Again, a little bit more brown running through it, but it's not as brown toned as Cognac, as you will see. And this shade just really intrigued me when I looked at it on the website. I do feel that the lip swatches on the website weren't that representative because, you know, your natural lip color will always influence what a shade will look like on you. But there is Dahlia, and this was sort of like my pick for like a more classic red, because this was the one that had more of a cool undertone compared to anything else they were doing. And this is what Dahlia looks like. From the website, I thought this was going to look darker on me, but against my fair skin, it definitely livens up and brightens up a lot. And I do really like this. It's like a really good, like classic red shade, but it's not too bright. It's definitely a little deeper than most classic blue toned reds. And I think that this, especially with my hair being a bit shorter right now and then a neutral eye, like this definitely really goes with the vibe that I've got going on in the black shirt. And then I want to make sure that I swatched smeared rouge next to these like deeper reds that I have, because a lot of people were saying that this was very similar to other reds they already have in their collection. And I would agree. Smeared rouge is not that unique, but it's definitely more like what I thought Dahlia was going to look like when I purchased it, if that makes sense. So you can just see it has a little bit more berry than what Dahlia has. Like they're very similar. But I do really like this shade. Smeared Rouge reminds me a lot of another Lisa Eldridge lipstick that I have, her True Velvet in Velvet Jazz. I feel this is very close to. So it's again a darker red, but because it has a bit more of a plum to it rather than Dahlia being much more blue toned and more classic red leaning, I feel that this comes closer to Velvet Jazz from Lisa Eldridge than Dahlia does. It has depth. It's really, really stunning. This is like my fall toned red for sure. So when I was looking to purchase these, the one shade that really stood out to me from all of the different reds they do is the shade Rubino, which seems to be like a blackened red, like darker than most classic reds. So I was very curious to see what this would do for me and my fair skin. Definitely when you take it out of the tube, like it looks black, but as we have already seen with these other shades, this doesn't swatch as dark or goes on as dark as you might expect, but Rubino is like a really good dark vampy red that's not too dark, which I love. It's like, reminds me a bit of MAC's Dark Side, in case you're familiar with that shade, but then more reddish toned. So this is Rubino, and this is their darkest red that they do. It's very sort of like a blackened red, but without it pulling too plum, which I like. This is again darker than Smeared Rouges, which I like. If you want to go for that very vampy moment, this is stunning. I did struggle getting it on a little bit. This does look a little bit patchy around the edges because of the way the product is pushed around, but I'm sure that, you know, if you were a little bit more careful and perhaps if you were to go in like 2 light layers, that this can definitely look a lot better. I'm just whacking these on to see what the shade does on me. But this is really, really stunning. This is a good Christmas shade for sure. As with every lip swatch video I do, my lip line is slowly disappearing, making it harder to apply these, but I have 3 fun shades left for you. This is Agave, and the shade of the lipstick is a shade of the tube, just to give you an idea. I just wanted to have also some fun with these, and if you go to my blog post where I'm showing all of the lip swatches to you, you will see how I actually combined the black with this teal shade to create an ombre lip, and I thought that that was a great like editorial vibe. I think I even put like a light green shimmer shadow on top just to have fun. Like I see people doing these things on Instagram, and my lips really don't warrant doing any sort of lip art. They're far too small for that. This is a lovely lipstick shade. Will I be wearing this to work? No. Will I be wearing this out and about a lot? Probably not, but I just thought it would be fun to try a teal lipstick to see what it does. I've tried blue in the past, I've tried green in the past, but teal I hadn't tried before. How much fun is this shade? I know with this very neutral look, I think it looks best to not have too much going on, and also the black shirt. It does really make me look extra pale though. I do have to say, I think this is much better if you have a darker skin tone, but I just like trying these things. And for a shade that's this different from the usual, I feel it goes on really well. This doesn't look patchy. This doesn't look weird. The only thing it does do is that it gives me a red ring around my mouth because it's such a clash with like some of the pinkish tones that I have in both my skin tone as well as my lip color. That's the only thing, which is why I think it's actually prettier if you use it as an ombre lip with the black. Finally, I have Queen of the Night, and this is their black and purple, and with shades like this, I very often struggle them actually showing up purple. Very often they just look like a black, but as with all of the shades here, because it sheers out a lot more compared to what you can see in the tube and on the applicator, I find that this definitely does look like a dark purple on me, which is a first, and purples can be very wearable indeed. This may actually also be pretty with the teal, like if you were to mix the two shades. And that's what Queen of the Night looks like. Yes, it's a very dark, full-on purple shade, but this for a vampy look, this is a really good one. I think that especially around Halloween time, something like this might be nice. If you perhaps have a very gothic aesthetic, this may be really cool as well. And I'm actually having a bit of a brainwave, which I might try right now, but maybe Mercury Wave may be very pretty mixed in with this. So I'm going to see if I can take off the middle section of my lip and put this one on. Okay, so I've taken off the middle part of my lip and I'm going to add in Mercury Wave just to see what happens. What do you guys think? I think you can do an ombre lip moment with this as well, so I think this is very pretty too. So let me take this off and then we can move on to the black. And finally, Scorpion Fruit. This is the black, which, I mean, black lipstick, I don't think I've ever tried a black lipstick that was opaque enough for it to be truly a black and that really was able to cover your lip color. This, wowza, it's intense. But as far as black lip color go, I mean, this with the agave shade is really pretty, but I think something like cognac perhaps, or smeared rouge, or even Rubino might be really cool too. So I really like how these shades are, because you have some time to play with them before they dry down, are really cool for trying things like ombre lips and like mixing the colors on your lips. It's like lip paint, really. I know this isn't for everyone. This is quite out there for most people, I'm sure, but I think this is stunning. And especially if you were to just like put a little bit of the black on like the outer edge, like just do a red lip with one of the reds and then just use the black at the edges of your lips to sort of create a bit more of a 1920s shape. Like this is just great. Like I can see so many uses for these. So even these more unusual shades, you don't have to wear them full on. You can mix and match these. You can play around with these. They will blend together. You can use a bit of a brush to really get a nice blend and have no harsh edges. And what you can also do, what I wanted to show you, because this is something that I've seen Kaleidos do a lot over on their Instagram, is to use one of their multi-chrome highlighters and to either top it over things or like in eye looks, but also in their lipstick looks. So that's what I wanted to do right here. This is the Gifted one, which is my favorite one of the two. I have both of them. And this is a cool tone one. So I'm just going to dab this in the middle of my lip. These Kaleidos lip clays are really emollient, moldable, you could say. That's why I think they're called lip clays, because you have time to play with these which a lot of liquid lipsticks, they just dry down and suck the life out of your lips. These do not. And you can see black lipstick, multi-chrome highlighter, and you have a really cool, edgy lip look that for a party or a festival, or if you just want to like live your unicorn best life. So I hope this video was helpful in giving you an idea of what these Kaleidos lip clays look like, what the texture is like, how you're able to play with these. Definitely check out the blog to see more options and close-ups of what these look like on my lips. You can see the texture perhaps a little bit better. And then I really hope you enjoyed watching today's video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more by me. I make several videos a week, so if you'd like to stay tuned for more, and then I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.